Thank you, Raphael, and it's great to be here after 2 years and see the whole thing from a different perspective. So first, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land on which we meet and pay my respect to their elders, past, present, and also future. So my name is Rita, and I'm the co-founder and executive director of Steer North. I'm here to share with you some of the challenges, failures, also wins that we had throughout our journey over the past 2.5 years. And we're still in our kind of learning journey. So I'm here also to just learn from all of the speakers and from you as well. So I hope to chat later on. So Steer North is a health promotion charity that aims to inspire and empower people to lead healthy and active lives. And we do that through epic cycling journeys across Australia. So we train young people, give them a leadership development program, a training program, and set them off on journeys across the country, cycling from community to community and delivering health promotion programs to regional and rural areas. So we also fundraise for cancer research and patient care. So our money goes towards our health promotion programs, but also towards the Victorian Comprehensive Cancer Centre, and this will contribute to cancer research and patient care, a cause that is very, I'll grab that, because that's very kind of close to our heart, and I'll let you know more about it in a second. So first, I'll start by kind of telling you a little bit about the background story and how I was inspired with my partner James to start Steer North. So when I was a student in the US, I joined an organization, so I didn't know anyone. I was there to do my master's, and I decided to join this organization called Texas 4000. And they were doing a big bike ride from Texas to Alaska to raise funds and awareness for cancer. Now, I had never cycled before, and I decided to do this it was kind of the perfect way for me to contribute at this stage in my life with me being a student and doing what I was doing. So I signed up for that and made it to Alaska in 70 days, cycled 8,000 kilometers, and together with the team, we raised about $500,000 towards the cause. So after this journey, it made me kind of rethink what I was doing with my life and gave me a lot of purpose and inspiration. So the people that I met along the way and just my teammates as well who were doing the rides with me really kind of changed my perspective, and I started thinking about my next step and how I want to be spending my time and energy. So after that, I was set on dedicating my time and energy towards health and education, things that I was very passionate about, and I wanted to use kind of cycling and sports and be inspired by this experience to create something similar. So the first idea that we had in Steer North is to do a big bike ride, the longest charity bike ride in the Southern Hemisphere, a bike ride from Melbourne to Cairns. So we wanted to do that, go through 45 different communities, but we didn't just want to get kind of cyclists and athletes to join us. We wanted to make that accessible for young people and people who had never cycled before, and we wanted them to go on this life-changing journey and then go in their communities after that and create change in their turn. So that was the big idea that we had, and we were super passionate about it, and we were set on making it happen, but we had no idea how to start or how to kind of make it a reality. So we actually didn't get to action, or we didn't start taking steps towards making it a reality until, unfortunately, my co-founder and partner's brother passed away from cancer. So we have always had this kind of idea, and we'd always talk about this project, but then we decided to channel our energy towards something positive and something meaningful when that happened. So we decided to kind of get started with the first few steps to make this a reality. So I'll start by taking you through the different stages that we went through to up to this day and up to where we're at today. So like I said, we didn't have much resources. We didn't have much knowledge about what we were doing. So we did a lot of research, and we decided to set up the organization and gain a bit of legitimacy to be able to make people believe us that we're actually going to do this bike ride. So this is a selfie of us with the constitution of Steer North before mailing it. So we were registered as a health promotion charity. We got the GR1 even before we started our activities. So we worked a lot on the application, did what we needed to do to gain a bit of legitimacy. And then, this was March 2015. So we had Steer North registered. And then this is from a video, a promotional video that we put $500 together to shoot. And then we went on the Great Ocean Road and created this 1-minute video to recruit riders and get them to come on the journey with us. So this is very helpful because it helped us kind of go around universities, go to Rotaract meetings, kind of every community organization we could make a connection with to present what we were doing and recruit riders. And any rider, anyone passionate about doing something, anyone who wants to contribute through Steer North. No cyclists, no athletes, just motivated and passionate people. So we managed to get on board 20 riders, so 20 future riders, I should say, and we gave them a leadership development and training program. And we were ready to kind of start growing the organization and keep our promise and do this bike ride. So the second stage was growing Steer North. So we had this group of riders, but we also needed to mobilize them, get partners on board, and kind of start moving forward to growing it. So the riders started kind of establishing some really meaningful relationships with each other. And I think this created a really nice culture. So just the idea that they are going to go through something meaningful and impactful together kind of broke some barriers and got them closer together. So this was a very important aspect of what we were doing, the community that we were creating. We got some partners on board, and I can tell you a bit in a bit more details about them later, how we got to bring in all these partners, but started with kind of one partner that we strategically got on board. They didn't offer us much, but we just wanted their name up there to get legitimacy and to have all the other partners flow. So then they didn't really offer much except their logo, we can say, and a bit of a discount. So we went with that, and then from there the partners started kind of coming one after the other, and people wanted to go on our journey without necessarily kind of cycling with us. So after that, we were able, through our riders, to raise $100,000 the first year that went towards the Victorian Comprehensive Cancer Center. So from the speakers and from organizations I look at online, there's numbers in the millions, and we try to do kind of our part in this. So this $100,000 helped establish a PhD scholarship at the Victorian Comprehensive Center and Melbourne Uni. So actually the application's open right now. So we are looking for kind of a talented cancer researcher to set them for life in a career in medical research, and hopefully in the next few years of Steer North have that community of cancer researchers contributing to that field and set for life in that field. So this is when it comes to fundraising. At this point, we still didn't go on a ride, so we still didn't do what we said we were going to do. So the main lesson from this, I think, from this stage up to this point, is that community was key for us. Building a community, not just an organization, was a key aspect of what we were doing, and we wouldn't have done anything if people didn't feel that they belonged. So I think having the sense of belonging is just important in every organization, whether it's a bike ride or even a tech platform that people are not necessarily talking with clients directly or interacting with them directly, but just having this community and taking people on a journey. I think that was the key learning that we had at this stage. So stage 3 was making it happen, was doing what we said we were going to do for a year and a half. So this is day 1 of the 45-day ride in Argyle Square in Carlton. So we had our 20 riders together, and this is us doing a ride dedication circle, which is kind of us getting together every morning of the ride and saying who are we riding for and who we want to dedicate our rides for. And these are people who have impacted us in our lives or even our teammates. So this is the ride dedication circle, and then we were set on our way. Seymour was the first day, and then we repeated that for 45 days. So this is us engaging with local communities along the way. We delivered kind of health promotion programs in collaboration with these local communities. So we were not there to kind of dump information and health promotion programs and tell them what they should do, but we were rather working with them and seeing how we can help them achieve their goal. And most of the times, they were activating their communities, and we were just participating and creating some excitement of like a group of cyclists passing by their town and kind of wanting to speak with them and engage with them. So that was our role in the different communities for the first ride. And this picture is at the top of a very, very difficult hill in Wollongong. So I put this picture up because I really, really value the connections with people. And I think people, again, are at the center of every organization, no matter what the organization is doing. And it's very important on that as well. I've learned to manage people, especially in a stressful environment over 45 days, and learned how to set expectations. So I think the most challenging part in the whole thing wasn't the cycling, wasn't sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor or camping or having 20 days to go on the ride. The most difficult part was managing people and managing expectations, because people were kind of the most unpredictable element of this whole thing. So we could predict the weather, how the route was going to be, all of that, but people we couldn't really predict. So I'm still kind of learning what's the best way to manage people and to manage a group, but and I don't have any answers around how to do that. But yeah, that's just a key thing that was a learning for me. Managing people is just so important. One thing I also learned, and it took me a while to do that, was to kind of let go of the things that were not important and just let go of ideas that are holding us back, of extra weight that we had. So one example is kind of a specific way we wanted to do an event. And then we were so set on that, so attached to the idea, we really wanted to do it our way and kind of make this idea happen. But it actually really slowed us down, and we were not really getting the point. So getting rid of all these kind of extra things and just focusing on the important was another lesson. And I'll come back to that because we had to let go of kind of a main, what we thought was a main aspect in our organization that we let go recently. So I'll get to that later, but this is one of the big lessons that I learned at this point on the ride. So we celebrated milestones, the big one for me being crossing the harbor bridge. It hit me at that point that we had actually gotten 20 people to cycle from Melbourne to Sydney so far. We still had 30 days to go at that point, but just celebrating milestones, and we made sure to put a rest day at every milestone so we can kind of pause and reflect and observe throughout the journey what has happened with us so far. So celebrating milestones is a very important thing that we still try to do as much as possible. So this is us in Cairns after 4,000 kilometers of cycling, 45 days of laughs and tears and anything you can imagine. Everything happening in 45 days had just ended. Our work of 2 years was kind of captured in this moment, and I'll never forget the feeling of getting to the finish line in Cairns. So this is us with some champagne flowing around, and we felt that we were on top of the world, and we thought that it's all going to be success from now on. This is it. We've proved to the people who are supporting us that we can do it, but we mostly proved it to ourselves, and it was all going to be great from now on. So we got to stage 4, which is the stage of post-proving ourselves. We had proved ourselves, and now we had to move forward and prove ourselves again, or go on this upward trajectory that we thought we were going to go on. But it didn't go as planned, and that upward trajectory is actually not upward at all, even after we had proven ourselves. So I'll tell you more about that, but I'd like to just see by a show of hands who has experienced failure when they thought they were kind of on top of the world. and failure hit. Oh, nice, I didn't expect this many people, but it's good to know that we were not alone in this. So we thought the road was gonna be open for us, and we thought we were gonna just go ahead and do great things afterwards. But the roadblocks were unexpected, and it didn't go at all how we wanted it to go after the first ride. So we thought riders were just gonna sign up. We're gonna have too many riders to handle. How many rides are we gonna do to get all these people on the road? So we decided to do a ride from Melbourne to Cairns again, a ride from Melbourne to Sydney, and a ride from Sydney to Brisbane, and recruit for these 3 rides. So we wanted to do shorter ones for people to, who can take 45 days off of their lives to be able to join us. So we started advertising for these, and not as many riders as we, not even close to as many riders as we hoped to signed up. We were advertising for too many things at the same time. We overpromised our board. We thought we were just gonna raise $500,000 to $1 million on next year, and we were simply also, and I think that was the main problem as well, is that we were simply not ready to get back into it. We were not ready mentally, we were not ready emotionally, we were exhausted after the first ride, but we were so afraid that the momentum was gonna go that we jumped right back into it and started doing the next thing. So the key message that it took us really, really long to get was to kind of stop and enjoy the view, enjoy where we've come so far, and reflect on where we've come. So everything was going so well, so we didn't bother kind of stopping and looking back and saying what happened well, what we could improve. We just kept going, and reflecting on how far we've come was a big, big, big learning that I'll be doing as often as possible from now on. Another lesson is to take a break and take care of our well-being. So at this point after the ride, or when all of that was happening, not enough riders were signing up, we were in all this kind of big chaos, and I wasn't doing well kind of mentally and physically, draining ourselves. So taking a break was a big lesson. This is something everyone tells you in the social kind of change space. Make sure you take care of yourself, self-care, all of that. We always talk about that, but we didn't really practice it. And we got to one realization, which is, I think, very obvious. But yeah, the realization is that the world is gonna be fine if we stop for a few days. The world's not gonna stop. We're not making all of that kind of work. Everything's going to be fine if we take a bit of a break. So that's a big lesson, I would say, from the past. So from the past few months, actually. So all of that is pretty recent. And after we had learned all of that, after we had taken a break, we decided to kind of keep going and push through. So what we did is we brought all of the riders who signed up for the 3 different rides. We brought them in one single ride, the Melbourne to Sydney one, which was the most kind of popular. So we decided to do that and go through with it, even if it wasn't ideal. But we wanted to do something after this first ride and kind of get our confidence back up and prove to ourselves that, you know, we're actually doing something that works. So this ride was a huge success. Everything about it went really, really well, besides some kind of minor things. But we had applied all the lessons from the past ride, whether it's like small logistical details or whether it's like kind of big ideas of how to engage communities and people. So we applied all of that. We made sure to apply all of that to the Melbourne to Sydney ride, and it was a really, really great success, in my opinion, and in the riders' opinions, which was really, really kind of uplifting for us. So we decided that now we have a product that people want. Now we're listening to what people want, and not just thinking that they want a Melbourne to Cairns ride and Melbourne to Sydney ride. We actually listened to what they want and kind of created that product. So these are pictures from the 2 rides in this slideshow, and I hope that all the lessons were kind of somehow, or some of the lessons were applicable to you, or you can take those and maybe apply it to your own organizations or future organizations. But I would say the biggest lessons are to have fun while you're doing it, do your best, and keep learning. And make sure you have lots of fun while doing it, because it'll make the whole thing worth it. So thank you so much. And this is our story so far. So we're gonna have Melbourne to Sydney rides every April and September. And we're also working on kind of weekend adventures, weekend purposeful adventures, and workshops to make cycling and adventure more accessible for more people, and to inspire and empower people to kind of lead healthy and active lives in a very accessible way. So we're working on more events as well that will be coming up soon that are not necessarily big multi-day bike rides. So that's where we're at the moment, and I'd love to hear about your journeys later on, and if there's any questions, I guess. Yeah.
Questions, queries, thoughts to share?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for your honesty about the whole journey and how it started out, and yeah, it's really refreshing to hear that, starting from right at the bottom and to where you've come through, and then the post success, and it's really inspiring.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
We've got any online, Julia?
Not yet. There are a few minutes behind us.
There's-
Oh, there's a few minutes behind. All right, there's one at the.
As someone who's actually fallen off an exercise bike, I take my hat off to you, the physical, mental challenges, even with the pure ride, let alone building a whole organisation around it. Would you be able to share, I'm not sure if that's your husband or your boyfriend or your friend, the guy with the
My
beard?
partner? Yeah.
Your partner?
James.
And any advice for anyone in the room about starting organisations with a partner, and what are some of the benefits and what are some of the pitfalls around that?
Yeah, it was definitely kind of a learning experience. So at the beginning, we definitely didn't get it right, and it took us a little bit to kind of figure out the partner life and the business life. So I would say definitely the benefits is sharing something amazing with the person you love, and knowing that this other person genuinely wants the best for you. I think that's the big benefit, and just sharing something special together. And I would say the main thing for us, the main solution for us to have a healthy relationship with these two things happening, the partnership in life and in business, was to separate tasks. So each one of us was responsible for a different aspect of Steer North. And then, obviously there's a lot of connected things because it's one organization, but having kind of different tasks that we were responsible for was very helpful to have a healthy working and just relationship in general. Yeah.
I like how you're promoting the healthy lifestyles, and you stopped in various places along the way, and education-wise, cancer. Did you get any post-visit feedback or outcomes from those
communities?
Visits?
Yeah, so something I haven't mentioned, I think, is that these communities, we are going through them during every ride. So on the Melbourne to Sydney ride, it was the same communities that we went through on the Melbourne to Cairns ride. So we want to develop these relationships with them. And the generosity of the communities are just amazing. And they were kind of waiting for us to come back. And they had things ready for us, dinners and events. And so we had a great relationship with them. And we stay in contact between the two different rides. And now we're in contact as well. And we're going through the same organization, talking to the same schools, and growing these relationships over the next few rides as well. Yeah.
I think the fact that you thought, I need to learn how to ride a bike, so I'm just going to do a 4,000k ride to really kick things off, speaks volumes about the sort of person that you are, and I guess how you approach things.
Thank you.
Obviously, in any entrepreneur's journey, there's highs and lows, and you talked us through some of those. what do you think is probably the lowest point? And what did you do? Like, who did you call on? How did you get yourself back on track and get things going again?
Yeah, thank you so much first. And I would say the biggest low was after we had finished the first ride and then had all these high expectations that we are going to do amazing things, and then getting to a point where we're even questioning if what we're doing is worth it. We were like really exhausted and really just questioning if, like I'm being completely kind of vulnerable now, but at one point we even, like I was thinking to myself, like, okay, we did this amazing 45-day ride, we established PhD scholarship, why not just like move on to something else? So so I would say that was kind of the lowest point and the lowest kind of self-talk that happened. And the way we got out of it is through each other, so myself and James, but also through the riders that we had on board. So we kind of saw this amazing group of people that is believing in what we're doing and that is ready to set for a new journey and to set on this bike ride. And they just believed in us and provided a lot of also kind of emotional support. So they became really close friends, and we consider ourselves like a Steer North family. So we use that term a lot. So I think this is what kind of got us back up from that point where we think this is not worth it to actually let's give this another shot and let's keep going at it.